If you're thinking about moving to Beacon Hill, you're on the verge of making a great choice. The first note about Beacon Hill is that you are not going to beat the location. You're walking distance to restaurants, bars, shops, especially those on Newberry and Boylston Street, the Boston Common, the Public Garden, and if you aren't within walking distance of something you want to do or see, you can just hop on one of the multiple Metro, aka T lines that are at most a few minutes by foot. Now, those reasons on their own are justification to live in just about any neighborhood, but then you add in the unique charm of Beacon Hill. Walking up and down these streets, you've got charming architecture, brick sidewalks, gas lamps, tree-lined roads. If you're living in Beacon Hill, you are living in a part of Boston and really American history. It's enchanting. There's no better way to describe this neighborhood. However, there are a few considerations to take into account if you're considering moving to Beacon Hill, and this picture is going to help us capture some of those considerations. Now, first, as the name implies, Beacon Hill is on a hill, and depending on where you live within the neighborhood, you might have to walk all the way up and down a hill every time you leave your apartment. These picturesque brick sidewalks are neither the smoothest nor are they the widest, and in Boston, it rains a lot. It snows a lot. Sometimes, especially when you don't own a car, you're carrying groceries. And if all of those things are happening at the same time, those brick sidewalks all of a sudden become much less charming. Additionally, we see this line of cars along the road, and that's not unique to this street. Anywhere in Beacon Hill where there is parking, the parking lot is full. In fact, parking in Beacon Hill ranges from hard to find to extremely hard to find. Now, the good news about this is that parking within Beacon Hill is free for residents. You just have to prove that you are a resident of Beacon Hill to the city of Boston, and they will give you a parking permit. But good luck finding a spot near your apartment. That is never a guarantee. Parking can be very difficult to find, and you do have to move your car from one side of the street to the other during specified times when there is street cleaning. Furthermore, you see that this is a narrow, one-way street. It can be difficult to drive around Beacon Hill until you really know where you are going. The exterior of these buildings are charming, and so is the interior. Most of these homes were designed in the early to mid 1800s. Exposed brick is common, but kitchens are often small. Living rooms were not designed around the television, and as one YouTube host has noted, the floors can be slightly uneven. These buildings were also built before washing machines and dishwashers, and some units still don't have these amenities, so don't assume an apartment has these before you move in. Also, don't assume heat is included in your rent. And if it's not included, heating systems in this neighborhood are often older and thus can end up being very expensive in the wintertime. Again, I don't provide these examples so that you avoid living in Beacon Hill. Rather, I hope that you can embrace the quirks that come with living in this awesome neighborhood. When it comes to groceries, you have the local market and a Whole Foods close by, but the nearest traditional supermarket is going to be a bit of a longer walk. If Beacon Hill is giving you good vibes and you're thinking about moving here, you can expect to budget about $2,400 a month for a one-bedroom and just under $2,900 a month for a two-bedroom. And these prices really do vary quite a bit based on whether a unit has laundry, whether it has a dishwasher, utilities included, whether it's a basement apartment, so on and so forth. Lastly, I've seen that Beacon Hill is named as one of the best spots in Boston for young professionals, and I just don't know if I see that to be true, and I don't know if the data necessarily backs that up. I just don't really get that vibe from Beacon Hill. But look, worst case scenario, you're going to be a stone's throw away from any place that you're going to want to go to. Beacon Hill is absolutely a great place for you to live if you're a young professional. So that's it for this video. Please let me know if I neglected to mention anything important about Beacon Hill, or if you have a completely different opinion of the neighborhood. Please like the video if you enjoyed, or subscribe for similar videos.